Hello, my friends. Today we're talking about storytelling, the essential element of any brand communication. So, why brand storytelling important? Why do you need to use this incredibly powerful tool when you want to attract customers and build effective brand? We're going to talk today about many different authors who touch the subject of brand storytelling. We're going to talk about the essential ideas which you can implement in your brand communication while you are using your own story or the story of your own business. And overall, I'm going to share with you a few examples how my clients did use storytelling to build successful brands. My name is Voyevoda. I'm business and brand creator and freedom coach, and I help women entrepreneurs and purpose-driven entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, experts to deliver their message to connect emotionally with their customers so that they can find themselves, brand themselves, show up confidently, and make the change in this world so that they connect with people and deliver their solution with no question asked. So, let's talk about storytelling. And the first author I want to mention today is Donald Miller and his very, very famous book. I'm sorry, it's flipped. His very famous book, which is called Building a Story Brand. So, this is a very good book to read, I think. However, when I was reading this book, I think this was one of the books where I was arguing with the author the most. The reason for that was because I learned the storytelling from the sources where he actually learned his storytelling methods. So I prefer to learn from the classic. I prefer to learn from the foundational ideas rather than to see the ideas which are based like, several 10 layers, surface level over their foundation. So I consider Donald Miller did write a very decent book. However, it's very surface level, and the purpose of this book to lead people to his program, which is not the bad marketing. However, it's a little bit surface level, as I would say. So he offers very brilliant and wonderful system, which is available on his site for free. So this system pretty much similar to what Joseph Campbell suggests in his hero journey storytelling method. And Donald Miller pretty much simplified this idea, so that's why you can consume it with ease because the original method created by Joseph Campbell is really complex. It's complex because it analyzes the plot of any mythology, it analyzes the idea how people tell the stories for thousands and thousands years. There is a plot number one, plot number two, and all the other things crossing the threshold. So Donald Miller did the good job so that marketers and entrepreneurs nowadays never need to learn deeper. They just need to take this book, learn his system, and probably improve their storytelling. Now, what is the cons of this method? Because it's done based on some very, very deep surface, on very, very deep foundational research. It really doesn't cover everything what you need to learn for powerful storytelling. That's why this book is leading you to his program, where I expect he potentially teaching you what Joseph Campbell could teach you in the book. So I would absolutely recommend you to read the book by Donald Miller. I don't know if you have to join his program or not. I would absolutely recommend you to learn his system, which is free on his site, and learn from him for free. Now, whether you want to buy from him or not, it's up to you. I'm not going to give you any links in the description to this video. You need to Google it. But the book or the method which I personally will recommend you, this is a method which I use as well. Now, I use it as foundation for my methods, but I think I pretty much use it like almost unattached, just simplified delivery. But I still teach my students based on the hero journey storytelling method by Joseph Campbell. Now, who is Joseph Campbell? Joseph Campbell is the author, the mythologist who analyzed a lot of mythological processes. So, hero specifically mythology. So, we will talk about Odyssey and we will talk about different Greek mythology. And because I was always obsessed with mythology, that just really resonated with me. So, Joseph Campbell created a structure, a system which is telling us the story where hero first have the problem. So in this story, as hero has a problem, they receive the call to action to solve this problem. Now, when we talk about this problem, they not necessarily jump into the hero journey, because the first thing, and it is actually in a system of a clock. So in a level of two, like 2 o'clock, they receive the call and then they refuse the adventure. That is a very important aspect, because when I teach this method, I explain people why when they communicate to wrong audience, this audience will never buy, and then they can waste like a lot of resources to deliver their story or their message to wrong people. So that's why it's so important to understand in which area of the circle you deliver your message, you deliver your story, how your story resonating with the story of your customers, why customers choose you. So that's why the method of Joseph Campbell is so much more powerful than the one which Donald Miller recommends. So when we go to the hero journey storytelling, there's a very simple method. So the hero get the call to action, refuse the adventure, then they eventually understand the situation get worse and they get the guide. Now, when they choose the guide, they move forward to like underworld based on the Joseph Campbell. So they crossing the threshold, which is approximately 3 o'clock on the watch. So once they pass 3 p.m., they go to the whole journey towards the ordeal, the temptation, and all the stories going on. And then they reach the abyss, the most fearful element of the story. And then the hero overcome the abyss with the help of the powerful guide. They get the wisdom, they transform. So in the next chapter, they pretty much trying to get back. And that's a very interesting thing which resonates with many coaches or course creators. They know that when people transformed, they just don't know how to adjust their new wisdom. So that's pretty much a very most powerful way for any coaches or authors to understand. So when the hero have this problem, they really want to get back, but they don't really fit. So there is called flying on the magic on the magic carpet. So in this story, they magically transform back to home. And now they become new teachers. Now they can teach something. Now they can explain people they new wisdom. So this is the end of the story. They get back home with the new wisdom and they get students. So it's a very powerful method. And when I teach people in my programs how to use this method, I explain them where the customers want to be, what part of the story you need to tell, what part of the story you don't need to tell, which mistake do you do with your communication when you deliver the story just based on the Joseph Campbell method. Now, who used this method and why it is so famous? So, first person publicly admitting using this story was uh, George Lucas, and George Lucas used this to create uh, the poetic story of Star Wars. So in Star Wars, the story is uh, poetically connected. I think I probably use the wrong term, but he built the connection between each chapter. So it's very powerful saga which is connected, intercrossed, and that's why the aspect, the impact of mythology on Star Wars is so important. Now you can see this method in action. If you want to learn a little bit more about mythology, I would recommend you to read Scandinavian sagas. I would recommend you to use Greek mythology. I would recommend you to read Story of Gilgamesh. I will recommend you to read the Indian mythology or any Middle Eastern mythology. That's pretty much what I was reading to build these connections. So after George Lucas used this very successfully in cinematography, it got its momentum. So pretty much films like A Star Was Born is a great example of how Joseph Campbell method is used. So it's hero journey, one by one, every step is taken right, and it's beautiful story. It's very dramatic, however, it's beautiful. Now we also have marketing campaigns start using this method. So storytelling actively uh, start be a focus for many marketers from 70s 80s. So people actively use this method to attract customers and build meaningful connections with their audiences. So I would absolutely recommend you once again that which is come up from this story of Joseph Campbell, the method which is recommended by most of the marketers or sales coaches. You need to deliver the message from pain to gain. So this is a standard classic which people recommend. You lead people in your content from pain to gain. And once this requirement is filled, in this moment, it becomes really irresistible, because when people understand that the pain is connected, the pain is guessed right. That's where the customer research is so important, because you understand how customers feel, you understand what customers pain is. When you describe this pain the way it resonates with your customers, in this way you instantly hit some point. So now they know that as an expert, as an author, as a coach, you resonate with them on a level of pain. Now, in your story, there are two ways how you approach this pain. There can be a point where you experience this pain, so then you describe this pain and it resonates in certain level. Or you were an expert who helped to cure this pain, so then the story of your client resonate with your next client. So these are two different approaches, because to me as an expert, I built many brands, but I never suffered with my own brand, because I pretty much could build logotypes, sites, websites, brand books for myself. So I never struggled hiring the agency to build my own brand. But my clients had a lot of problems with the branding and did a lot of mistakes, or hire unprofessional experts or unprofessional agencies to build their brands and lose a lot of money before they hired me. When they hired me, we were focusing on their budget, we were focusing on their business goals, we were focusing on that they need to find themselves, they need to understand the essence, the story, the business why, their business reason to do the business, the ikigai for personal brand, and for business, really the why, the reasons. Now, also, they need to understand what is their vision. They need to build a very powerful assessment, understanding of the resources. So all these things will help my clients, and did help my clients, to understand what is the essence of their brand. When they find themselves, when they find the brand, when they find their personality, and usually I deliver it through my program, which is Personal Branding Mastery. It's a very, very deep coaching. So 3 months coaching program where people deeply understand themselves. It's a self-development program. So when they understand it, they can wrap it in a perfect colors, in a perfect phontography, in a perfect sites, logos, whatsoever. But unless we have this chapter, unless we know who we are, unless we understand what it's all about, in this situation, we just have an empty wrapping. And guess what? When you have an empty, beautiful wrapping, people come on your side, people get to your content, and they communicate with you once. If they purchase something from you and they're not satisfied with that, what is inside that beautiful wrapping, they will never ever buy from you again. They will never recommend you. And this is where business losing a lot of money. So that's how storytelling, attracting loyal customers again and again, they resonating with you because your story make them connected. Now, as they resonate with the pain, they also have to resonate with the gain to build that, to make the desire to purchase your product. So when we talk about the gain and we talk about the dream where your clients want to be, it's not just that they want to find the solution. We talk about several aspects. We talk about where they want to be and what is the reason to believe, why you're trustworthy, what are your credentials. And we also talk about reason behind the reason. So for example, when you buy the vacuum cleaner, you want to have the clean house. When you buy the mattress, you want to have comfortable sleeping situation, better dreams, more resting. When you buy warm clothes, you want to feel cozy, you want to feel warm. So as you see, there are reasons above the reasons to have something. And the more deeper you dive into this reason above the reason, because there could be plenty, the more you resonate with right customers. So these are storytelling methods, the three storytelling methods, which I recommend to you today. And I hope you will be able to use all of them, because these methods pretty much based on the same story. When we go before, after, when we go from the pain to gain, when we go from knowing not knowing where to go to ultimate clarity and the ultimate solution. So there are plenty of ways how you can build or wrap your story around it. So as I said, you need to know who you are to build the story. You need to know the essence of your story is that coaching methods which I built. When we understand what your story is revolved around, your why, your vision, your ikigai, your story overall, because not every story will resonate. So, giving you an example of the story, one of the coaches I worked with, absolutely amazing coach, she delivered wonderful methods and brilliant in all the ways. But her story started with the pain. That pain was irrelevant to the gain which she was offering, because her story started from her powerful transformation. She had difficulties in life, she was divorced, and she started with rebuilding her new house. And it was a lot of struggle. She learned a lot, but then she put herself up, learn how to build that house, and become ultimately amazing coach. The whole story before, when she was divorced, when she blamed her husband a little bit about all the situation, was irrelevant for her customers. So this is an example when we can understand what part of the story actually help you to build right marketing and which part of the story can affect it negatively. There are plenty of stories which has no point to tell. Giving you an example of poverty, and I call it imaginary poverty. Somebody tell, and this is international coaches, somebody tell the story about, oh my God, I had to go for work with a little box of food because I couldn't have my lunch in cafe nearby. Well, that's what many people do. It has nothing to do with poverty. It's, in fact, many times a good idea to cook in home healthier food than eat in cafe. So that's imaginary poverty. That's not the point to show the poverty. It could be different example because her story is from rags to riches. Now, another person, very famous coach, mentioned that, oh my God, I couldn't use Pampers for my son. I had to use towels. And guess what? Half of the world using towels or clothes and they don't use Pampers. So again, it's not the poverty story. It probably was very painful for her, and I don't want to underminish it. But sometimes it can cause a very negative effect for your brand overall. Giving you another example of the political situation where people said in the first days of war we had to eat put hot water in the vermicelli or pasta and make it from the packaging pasta, and that's what many people do. And well, it was not that painful. So when you describe the pain, you really need to go not from the imaginary poverty or not imaginary pain. You need to go to your client's pain. You need to see where they are at. If you've been in that pain, it will be easy for you to describe the real pain, and that will resonate with people. If your clients were in that pain, ask your clients how did they feel at that moment. It's really important to deliver not the factual pain, but the feeling of the pain. Now, if you know your clients or prospects, you can interview them in one to one without recording and just make some notes about how do they feel about this pain right now. That's very important. It will help you a lot to understand your customers deeper. And the better you use the words which they used, the more resonance you will be able to create. Same goes about the dreams. I have the whole system in my coaching system, Personal Branding Mastery, when there is a content writing workshop, which is a part of the program. It's a bonus. And we learn how to systemize these elements to create the story and every single piece of content into potentially convertible content, which can convert your readers to buyers or your videos to your viewers to buyers. So it's important to understand how your pain, your client's pain resonate with your pain or with the pain of your customers, which you solve. Now, when they understand that you on the same page with them, you can tell them that you know what they're dreaming about. Now, how will it feel to be without this pain? How will it be without that problem? What this solution will bring into their life? Reason after reason after reason. Again, interviewing your customers will give you tremendous advantage because you will know exactly how they describe what they get. Now, your solution is in between. It's a bridge between gain and pain. So, pain to gain. Pretty much, you help people to reach out towards this gain with the solution clients and with many other coaches and groups media, they deliver the solution which doesn't resonate with your customers. For example, if your clients want to lose weight and you start focusing on the story about some exercises and complex nutrition elements and things like that, they might not resonate with that because they have no clue what they have to do. You are going to teach them, but you need to tell them how will they feel during this process. So in this process, they might need to do certain things, but they don't know they need to do it. What is important for them, it's how they will feel in the process. Will that be easy? How much time will it take? Will it be difficult? Will be some consequences or not? And they want this transparency, they want this clarity. So if you want to tell them that they need to do the exercises, please go ahead. Tell them that they need to do some exercises. Tell them that they will need to make some adjustments in their diet or whatever. But you don't need to focus all your content around it. You need to tell them how will they feel in the process and by the end of the program. You need to give them the credentials which prove that you will give them the solution. So when you deliver your story, it's important to eliminate the elements which distract attention of your customers and which will point them straight forward that your solution will help them to move from pain to gain. And that will allow them not just resonate with your story, but also dive deeper in the rest of your content. And as I said before in the previous video, you really need to focus on how you create their customer journey so that you know that you not just deliver them beautiful story, but you also open the getaway so they can sample your content, they can sample your product, they can understand how your product work deeper and deeper and deeper by subscribing, by buying lower hanging fruit products, by purchasing a call with you or something like this before they dive into your more expensive solutions. So when you create this customer journey, when you create the storytelling which leads people to get away to that customer journey with you, then you see how your business will scale, how your business will attract customers almost automatically. You will see where to invest and which story works for you better and which story don't work. Again, metrics, metrics, metrics. Add your metrics. If your story lead people somewhere, you need to know which story worked the best. It will help you to automate your business. It will help you to create content that resonate. It will help you to create more effective advertising campaigns, because when you create effective advertising campaigns, you spend lesser and you get better impact, more purchases, more sales, and overall better brand awareness. So I hope you enjoy this content. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer all your questions. Feel free to connect with me or download my content or purchase some of my content, which is available on my site visibilitygym.com or brandyourgym.com. Let me know what do you think, and I will see you in the other video.